Why hello there, fellow moon farmers. Rodamon here. Thank you for tuning in to Stationeers. Episode 11, Growing Potatoes and Setting Light Logic. I'm going to build one grow light and then I'm going to go get some coal and iron. Because I'm going to need coal and iron soon. Come on, grow light. I don't get a lot of sunlight around here. Alright, well, that's not how to throw. We'll set that up later. My suit's fine. Helmet's closed.
Oxygen low. Oxygen critical.
Helps to turn the suit on. Alright. We are looking for coal and iron. I see some iron right over there. And then coal for our power. Oh, it's right next to the iron. Perfect. I'll bother with, like, ore scanners soon. Potatoes are the last urgent thing that I need to manage. Once you have food, water, oxygen, and power, you can start to do the nice-to-haves and not the need-to-haves. Potatoes are the last need-to-have on my list. Well, that and, like, a microwave. So that I don't eat raw potatoes. Yuck! And I'll have you guys decide what the nice-to-haves are. Whether I improve old systems or add new things. I can start to give you more agency now that I'm not, like, on pure survival mode. Automating systems, going for renewable power, you know, so on and so forth. Alright, there's more coal down here. I'm sure I'm not going to remember that, but maybe you guys will. Good enough. What's my battery on this? 61%? Got it. Are the resources... Did they respawn? They do not respawn, but, like... The moon's kind of a big place. There's also, rockets to go elsewhere, and deep miners. There's a whole lot of tech to allow you to ramp up your ore production to the point where, like, you're not gonna need it. So, it's finite, but not finite so much that you have to pain yourself to get it, if that makes sense. It's like, is the ocean water finite? Technically, but good luck trying to use it all. Fat chance of that, you know? Think of it that way. Oh, crap. I don't know if I... okay, I might have closed the valve fast enough that it didn't fart out my, my fuel. Yeah, okay, it's hot. Cool. Let's leave a stack of 50 there. I'll do everything else. Also going to need another CO2 filter soonish, because my old one is burning up. And yes, remember the potato seeds. Realistically, I should probably have the medical pill on me at all times. I don't want to have to use it, but if I need it and don't have it, I'm definitely dead. So it's better to Have it or not need it, then need it or not have it. Alright, so there's the grow light. Sticking the iron in. And the grow light will be attached here, maybe? Will I need more? Oh, I might have enough cables for this. Oh, actually, I don't want that as a... So this is a nice place to put a meter. So I'm going to leave that spot alone and run my power like this. Oh, it was correct. Why did I hit C? There we go. Which one is... What is in my jetpack is what? Nitrogen?
Jetpack critical.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Oh, I didn't mean to open it, though. Well, I guess my jetpack is empty now. I was checking, because when you use your jetpack, you are, you're using it as propulsion, so it exhausts. So my jetpack now will be oxygen. And I'll have to empty out that, this old propellant canister at some point. So now when I use my jetpack, I'm farting out oxygen behind me, so it's not going to, like, ruin the base's atmo. Alright, what is the power point? It's the closer one. Got it. I'm probably actually going to want data on it too, because grow lights are probably something to automate relatively early on. So I don't have to keep clicking it every day, because that's going to get old fast. And you can see the cabling up there. I was 99% sure it was nitrogen in my propulsion tank. I just wanted to make damn well sure, because if it was something not nitrogen, it would be unpleasant to accidentally introduce that into your base. So taking a look, 26 Celsius water. It's a little cool in here. It could be a little warmer. So I'm going to warm it up, and I'll do the bulk warm by just like dropping, let's say, 2 flares. I don't want to make major adjustments. Smaller adjustments are more welcome. This can is full of carbon dioxide. So yeah, let me just fart that out now. So these 2 canisters can be empty cycled. So we're almost up to like ideal temp, which is roughly 20. Pressure's fine. There isn't too many pollutants in the air. There is carbon dioxide in the air. So, we are very, very... I could probably sow a seed. Before I sow a seed, let's print up a plant analyzer. Which is a way to figure out if your plants are healthy or not. So, plant analyzer. And then while I'm here, I'll do the ore scan as well. Because, that's nice to have. So there's 2 levels of ore scan, and I'm going to do the color one, because the regular one just tells you if you have ore or not, which is super unhelpful in my opinion. So this is the color ore scanner, yeah. Okay, got both. Nice. So opening up the plant analyzer, I now have the ability to analyze the health of a plant. And let's plant our first potato seed. Turning on the grow light. So, this potato has a min ideal temperature of 19.9, a max ideal temperature of 29.9. Current temperature is 22, so that's good. Pressure efficiency. Min ideal is at least 51 kPa. I'm at 58, almost 59, so that's fine. It's not light deficient, it's not dark deficient, it's hydrated, it's not critically illuminated stress. It's got at least 1% carbon dioxide. It has got no more than 1 kPa of pollutant. We're at 0.6 or 6, so not anywhere close. And I have no volatiles present. This potato is thriving towards fruiting. Yeah! Okay, one other thing I would like to do is to get a means to actually cook the thing. So I'm going to want a table out of iron and copper. Your Irish ancestors would be proud of me? Yeah, thank you. I worked real hard for potato. And potatoes roughly want like 5 minutes of darkness and at least 10 minutes of light a day-ish. So the grow light shouldn't be left on in perpetuity. Wait. Oh, no, I didn't want 2 of them. Oh, well, whatever. Pissing me off. So let's have our table there. I thought I had switched the recipe so it wouldn't print up 2 tables. Well, I have a kitchen table, but maybe I'll have like a some furniture, a bench or something. Yeah, this is my bed. Now, there we go. I've got a bed. So this is gonna the purpose of this thing is for a microwave. I hope I have enough material for it after accidentally making an extra table. You know, maybe I'll make a table and a chair so it looks like I actually do eating. I mean, I can start to do the nice to haves. And then we need to wire it up. I don't even have a light for my base. I mean, we are so running in the dark. Alright. We are at 25C, so I'm going to turn off the heater. So that's like the sweet spot. I'm going to wait till this finishes before I wire anything up to it, because it can reset the progress. Alright, so now this table can be turned on and off. We'll grab our microwave, drop it on the table, and wrench it down. And now we have a working microwave. Eating raw potato sucks, but we can bake the potato in a microwave for better sustenance. I don't yet have a refrigerator, but, I mean, you know, spoilage is not something that's going to happen so quickly that I won't be able to control it. Alright, before we go any further, let's check on potato progress. Oop, that's the wrong... And I wanted to check on, like, water and stuff. So, plenty of water. Plenty of water. Plenty of water. Air temperature's fine. We're pretty good. So we've got the means to do a microwave. Now, the other things you can print up, if you want, are like a refrigerator. But I don't think first pass at this, I'm going to need a refrigerator. I think that's a bit overkill for what one potato that I'm almost certainly going to just replant into the ground. So that's not necessary. Yeah. So while I sort of babysit the potato, the question for you guys is what to work on next. So here are some basic choices, and I'm going to have like a suggestion box that you can vote on to open up the suggestion box if you want to suggest. So I can work on Adding solar power. I could work on adding water production automation. Making the production, all that stuff a little bit more automated. I could, let's see. What are some other important ones? I could improve my tools. Higher quality tools, possibly an extra suit, a respawn point, things like that. I could automate grow timers. Grow light. Or add cooling / heating to the base. Or viewer suggestions. So I'm going to have you guys vote on what to work on next. All right, it looks like you guys would like for me to automate my grow light. Okie dokie. Let me just hydrate, and then we'll do that. Cheers. Ah, cold coffee. So, in order to automate the grow light, we're going to need a sensor, a light sensor. So let me update the priority, grow my first potato, and automate light. While I'm here, let's just get, like, a light for the base. I know I don't have a lot of copper, but, like, I can afford to keep the lights on. I'll put it here. I might have two of them, one on the other side. I'll see how this looks. Because then the portable light that I have, like, on me can... I don't necessarily need to lug it around all the time. I don't mind. It's not going to kill me, but still. Maybe long angled is going to be better. Probably. Because I kind of want the light down here with where I am, not up there. Where's my cables? Did I... Wait, did I drop them on the... I dropped my tablet. Was I out of cables? I don't have cables, but I feel like I was holding cables. Did I run out of cables? Oh, they're in the auto lathe? Ah, yeah, okay. What happened to the cables? Oh, damn it. Give that back. Good call with the auto lathe. Of course I would stick it where it don't belong. It's way worse when you stick it in a furnace, because that mistake is it burns them up. Oops. Just click. Okay, if I turn off my portable light, it's not bright, but it's functional in here. It could use one overhead, but you didn't vote for that, so I'm not going to do that right now. Because I can just as easily keep the portable light on. It's just nice to have other sources of light. It'll also allow me to find the base while I'm out a little bit easier, because, you know, it will be bright in here. Next part, the daylight sensor. So, we're going to want a sensor kit. And I only want one of those, not a bajillion, so hover around the machine. And this can be a daylight sensor, a motion sensor, or a gas sensor. In our case, it's obviously going to be a daylight sensor. Then we're going to need to read the data off the daylight sensor. So that would be a logic I/O. To explain the logic, I/O is reading or writing. So reading data from a device or writing data to a device. So we're going to need two of these. One logic I/O to read the solar angle, because there isn't like a clock. So the way the sun works is there's a solar angle that cycles throughout the day. And depending on the solar angle, we can take that solar angle information and turn on the grow light on or off depending on the solar angle. So we have a logic I/O for reading the solar angle. We'll have a logic I/O for writing to the grow light. Because these things double as a logic reader, logic writer, a batch writer. A batch writer would be useful if you're trying to writing the angles of a bunch of solar panel arrays. That would be a batch. Or if I had more than one grow light, we would use a batch writer. So we've got the logic reader and writer. Then we're also going to want a logic math unit, a processor, because we have to make the determination if some value is greater than solar angle, turn lights on. If not, turn lights off. So that's the logic processor, which can do basic math. It can be a logic gate, min-max, compare. And in this case, we're going to be using a compare. We're going to be comparing two values, the solar angle and some preset value that we have. And then the preset value that we have is going to be the last logic unit required in this system, which is logic memory. Logic memory allows you to store a value, some numerical value, which in this case we're going to compare to. And that's really all the logic units that I need. Now the caveat here is these require power. The more logic you add to your base, the more power hungry it becomes, and the more space this stuff takes up. I have walls back here, solid walls, and the reason for those walls is I can hide the logic behind the walls in covers, which I'll do eventually. Also, might be time to turn off the grow light. So before I go any further, let's analyze the plants to see how it's doing. So its illumination stress was climbing. Its light efficiency, it's actually, I could keep the light on a little bit more, but it's doing well. It's growing 110%. The daylight sensor, if I ever install solar power, I might want to install this daylight sensor roughly where my solar power is going to go. So I can use the daylight sensor doubling for solar panels. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to install this thing outside. And given that I don't have any cables left, all but one, really, let's get some cables too. And I think that's going to be the last of my copper. So I'm going to print 10 cables, be out of copper, and run this line all the way up to the ceiling so that I can install the sensor on the roof or somewhere near the roof. That way it's going to be more accessible when if and when I do solar tracking. Actually, yeah, probably not. I don't want it face that way. I want it going this way. I'll just have to go up. I'll find it. Okay, let's go get that sensor in. And all that really matters is that the sensor is on the same data network, meaning downstream of this here as everything else. Not a big deal. It already is. Actually, you know what? More carbon dioxide for the plants. There. So now the CO2 in this room should be a little bit higher, like 4% maybe. Yep, 4%. It is dark deficient though. So see that darkness deficiency? It means it needs to have the lights turned off. So that's exactly why we're automating the grow light. But potato's going. It is thriving. We are doing a good job. Its grow efficiency is 106%. I like to see that. All right. Filters on, helmet closed, grabbing the sensors and heading outside. These cans were almost empty, so it wasn't really important that I opened them up while the airlock was cycling. Wouldn't have really mattered. And I'm going to point the daylight sensor at 0 degrees because there's some logic to do. There's a reason to do that like later on if I'm ever going to be solar tracking, because the angle that the daylight sensor is installed on affects the readings for like solar angles and the like, or for horizontal and vertical. But I digress. You don't need to know this just yet. All right. So now there's a daylight sensor that is visible to the data network below. Perfect. Topping up the batteries. Grabbing my cans. And headed inside. Okay, the rest of the logic we'll grab and we'll install above the up here. Seems like a reasonable place given that we're growing right below. If my stupid feet would work. I could use my jetpack, but okay, I'm gonna jetpack. So, the logic reader, I'm going to point downwards like this. Actually, let's point it like that. It needs imported data from the daylight sensor, and then it needs to also be connected to the grow light so it can well, actually, that's not true. It needs to be connected to the math unit. So, laying this out as efficiently as possible, this logic reader for the two inputs, for the input, needs just the daylight sensor. So let's, because I'm out of copper. I need to go mining, and it just became nighttime. That sucks. I really have no more copper? No. Okay, I have no more copper. So, Potato, you chill, because I'm gonna need to go get copper. So before I head out, food and water. And we're down to 2 cereal bars, so very happy to be growing my first potato. Oh, right, the ox tank has been cleared. You're right, I should plug that in. So, either one of these, they're both empty. And in order to conserve power, I'll just sit here for 3 more seconds and turn it off once it reaches 5K PA. Alright, 49.85 is close enough. Before I leave, just checking up on the condition of things. My coolant doesn't have any exposed, uninsulated stuff, so it hasn't changed temperatures at all. Still plenty of water. Still plenty of drinking water. Base is fine. Plant analyzer. I might want like a little shelf to have the seeds in the plant analyzer here. But yeah, we can leave that behind. So let's hook up the ore scanner so we can actually find what the hell we're looking for. Helmet down. My ox tanks and waste tanks, and my filter's a little low, but not critical that I need to like stop what I'm doing and replace it. And suits are on. Good. I'm looking for copper, so you can start to see the ores below, and you'll... Whoa, that was some weird lighting. You'll get used to the... What the... Oh, why did I bring that with me? You'll get used to what the colors mean once you do some mining. But right here, because I'm used to the colors, is copper. I wouldn't have known had I not had that ore scanner, huh? So this, like, gold, this duller gold is copper. If it was brighter gold, it would be gold. So copper has, and then, you know, volatiles are like a red, pink, iron is like a purple, so on and so forth. Some materials, as far as their color codes go, kind of look similar to one another to me. So, like, for instance, silicon and coal are both kind of like a gray, and sometimes I get them confused. But, like, for the most part, you can tell what color it is at a glance, and that's real handy. So, makes for easy mining. And the other thing is you can use this to exhaust the entire vein. So if you have the luxury of time to be able to, like, mine until the entire vein's done, you're not leaving scraps. You're being more thorough. And it's a lot easier to be more thorough with the ore scanner, because you don't have to, like, hunt and peck searching. I can tell that there's ore here from the scan alone, right? If I turn the ore scanner on, oh, I need to jet back up to the level. Actually, we might be through. Yeah, I think. Let's do one more quick pass. Yep, there is something else that way. I think it's probably silicon, but all this copper's been grabbed. Not that it's a massive difference, but you can see that the base lights, and it's not a lot of wattage that it takes. The base lights help to make the base more identifiable, so it's not just a few, like, little green dots here or there. It's the whole inside of the base is lit up, which is going to be a lot nicer to find home. Did I leave this on? I did. Come on. Alright, 150 copper. All set. Or 142 rather. All set. Okay, back to the logic. Oh, no. Jump at the gun. Back to making cables, and then back to the logic. It's probably potato switch light time, yeah. And we'll switch the... Oh, I'm thirsty too. Looking good. All in the green. Alright, 33 should be enough for this project. So data of the reader. Actually, I'm going to angle that differently. Normally, when I hook these things up, I just like plug everything into everything and like think nothing of it. But this time I can, you can very clearly see up here, there's a data input, there's a data output, and then there's a power slot. So I'm going to cable this like semi-efficiently, maybe not perfect, but like better than than I normally would. Rather than like a big web of everything plugged into everything. So we'll carry data for the reader and then power. I'm going to only turn this on once we're done. But in order to change the variables, you take a screwdriver. And what we want is we want the daylight sensor. So there it goes. It's inputting the daylight sensor. And then we'd pick the variable. So we can pick, here are the variables. There's prefab hash, solar irradiance, reference ID, name hash, mode, active, horizontal, vertical, solar angle. We're going to want solar angle. And then if we turn this on, as you can see, the solar angle right now is 120 degrees and lowering. And this tells us like where the sun is in the position of the sky, which we're using as a clock. So I can turn that off and drink some water. Man, I'm down to like a half a snack, or a snack and a half. A bar and a half of snacks. So you need to grow faster. In fact, I'm gonna risk it and add another potato to the tray. It's useful to have all your potatoes planted at the same time so they're on the same like cycle and all that, but whatever. So there we go. We have the logic reader for the solar angle. The next piece is going to be the processor. So the processor has 2 inputs and 1 output. So one of the inputs is going to be a memory unit, and the other input is going to be the solar angle, and then the output is going to be fed to the logic reader. I might want all of these on the same frame though, so maybe I'll adjust it so that it's all within one frame, because then when I go to hide it, I don't need to make extras. So I'll have a compare here. Compare here, and a memory here. So it is going to be a bit of a web of cables. I lied. But we'll be able to hide it better. So the logic compare input is going to compare the solar angle that we read for the reader against the memory. We're also going to want power to it, which is the top slot. And then the data that is output, which is this slot, goes to a writer, which this is not currently a writer, so I'll have to correct that. The logic writer. So to walk you through the entire system, the logic reader is reading the solar angle off of this daylight sensor. And then the logic writer is going to be writing the math, and I should label these two. So this is the grow light logic reader, the grow light logic compare, the grow light logic memory, and the grow light logic writer. And that way, on the data network, they're distinct from other logic readers, writers, and memories and all that. So the memory I'm going to put in here is going to be 100. Or 90, rather. And the reason for this is the solar angles go from 0 to 180 to back to 0 in like an arc. That's how they're read. So you'll see in the solar angles, it's going to cycle from like 0, 180, 0, 0, 180, 0. And that's the full cycle. So 90 is halfway. So 90 is like an on-off switch that is on half the time, in other words. Let's analyze these again. So this one is not deficient in anything, and this one is not deficient in anything. And they might have slightly different tolerances. As you can see, different potatoes, different tolerances. So this one has an ideal pressure that's higher, this one's lower. This one is a lower temperature, this one has a higher temperature. And you can essentially breed potatoes for traits, which I don't really need to do for feeding myself, but, you know, later on down the line. So there we go, we got the solar angle. Then we're going to take the Grow Light Logic Reader solar angle. Let's put this away. So Grow Light Logic Reader, and say if it's like greater than the memory, which is 90, do something. If not, do something else. And then the last step here, I guess I'll turn that on. The last step here is to take the compare unit, the Grow Light Logic Compare, as an input. There it is. And then the output is going to be to the Grow Light. Oops. Nope. Grow Light. There it is. And then whether it is on or not. And now we have Grow Light Logic. And that's done. That's it. That's the whole shebang. So, as soon as the solar angle is greater than... As soon as the solar angle is greater than 90, it turns on. And when it's not greater than 90, it turns off. So it's just a flip-flop every day. Likewise, I could do something similar. Like, I could detect if there was, like, solar irradiance, you know, for my lights, so that when it's dark out, my lights turn on, and when it's light out, my lights turn off. Like, there's a bunch of different little things you can do. And then the other thing that's important to note here is this isn't free. The logic costs wattage. So right now my base is pulling 200 watts, 50 for one light, obviously 50 for the other, 5 for the idling charger. That charger costs 5 watts to idle. And then the reader, writer, and compare is 10 watts each. The airlock console is 50 watts, which I could turn off. I'm not too concerned, but you could flick that off when it's not in use to save you an extra 50 watts. But yeah, the logic systems here is like non-zero, meaning that like if I run out of power, they don't work. Thank you for tuning in to Stationeers, which originally streamed live on Twitch as a marathon, one time only. If you have any questions for me, let me know in the comments below. I am not, however, looking for feedback. I asked for no backseating for the series, and also, because this streamed one time only, feedback wouldn't be able to be incorporated anyway. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhodamont.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhodamont.com also has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that made it all the way to the credits. So thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Stationeers.